Today on V.L.A.M.P, we turn 100. Welcome everyone to V.L.A.M.P, Video, Lighting, Audio, Music, and Photography How-To Show. I am of course your host, Matt Haslam, and that was the 100th time I've welcomed you, our wonderful audience, to the show. Since the start of Season 1, we created over 25 hours of content for V.L.A.M.P over the course of 99 episodes. Content which is packed full of thousands of tips, tricks, and detailed tutorials. Tonight, we're going to reminisce on those first 99 episodes and show you our picks for the best moments on the show. We went back into the archives and watched each episode once again to pick out the moments which made each episode special. Included in tonight's special episode are the best tips we've ever given, the funniest moments on the show, most inspiring moments by a special guest, most shy moments I've had hosting this show, and the greatest moments on the show thus far. We'll also count down the top 5 most popular episodes to date, and finally, show you all the bloopers and outtakes from every season of the show, so please stay tuned. But before we get to all those great moments, I feel it's important to remember where we came from, why this show got its start in the first place, why I'm hosting a YouTube channel at all. So let's take a look at how V.L.A.M.P got its start. When I was 10 years old and just starting to perform my music, there were family members and friends who would help me carry my guitar cases, but no one in the industry was willing to give me any advice on what to do, what gear to buy, and how to go about being successful in this industry. Lucky for me, I found experts in the industry much later. But in those beginning years, I seemed to have no one. So in August 2014, I rolled my cameras for the first time, for what would later be known as V.L.A.M.P. The running title back then was Stage Life University, named after the first band I ever performed under, called Stage Life Band.
Hello and welcome to Stage Life University, the world's first completely free online audio, video, lighting, rigging, entertainer, and stage design learning community.
Our first episode was over 2 hours long, and it taught viewers how to set up and run audio for live production using a very cheesy PowerPoint presentation. Just 2 episodes later, we changed the name of the show to MH News and made the show into a blog where we would write tips and post them on our website in a paragraph format. A few blog posts later, we realized we liked making videos more, and you, our audience, liked watching rather than reading. So a few blog posts later, we rolled the cameras once again for a video episode, and Season 1 was well underway. But the title MH News was a little confusing, since we really didn't talk about the news too much on the show, but rather we gave advice on 5 major topics. They were, of course, video, lighting, audio, music, and photography. So in Season 4, we officially changed the name of the show one more time to V.L.A.M.P, an abbreviated version of our 5 topics of interest. While this show was created to take what my friends and I have learned through over 80 plus years of experience and pass it along to others who have a thirst for this knowledge, this show has also taught us. In fact, it taught us more than we ever thought it would. You see, I've long said on the show that the true sign of a professional isn't about what you know, it's knowing what you don't know. It's an odd saying, but it basically means that you don't have to know everything. As long as when you don't know how to do something, you're smart enough to bring in someone who does, and learn from them without your ego being scarred. I've made it no secret on this program that the people who surround the show have taught me a great deal. The people I've worked with for the over 4,000 live events I've played a part in have taught me much of the advice that I forwarded on in this show. But this show has taught me sometimes you spread yourself way too thin. I've realized in doing this show that I don't know how to create 5 episodes a week for a show without having help. That's why in season 2, the show ended so suddenly, because I burned myself out trying to do it all by myself. Some of the questions you've sent into the show have made me realize it is impossible for one person to know everything about any topic. So I've learned that my professionalism is showcased when a show isn't a one-man venture. I've learned a ton by doing this show, and I hope this show has taught you something as well. It's hard to count the number of tips we've given on this show, but let's take a quick look at our picks for the best tips we've ever given on this show thus far.
We'll shoot with different techniques in a bunch of different ways, and that way, while the actor or the interviewee is talking about that certain location, we'll take that voice and we'll put it over top of a couple B-roll shots of that location. And for instance, a while back we were at, let's go with, an old black powder mill that we shot at last year. And I'll put my voice here over top of a shot of that location. And that way, the audience gets to visualize it a little more than rather than just having me here talking about it and describing it in detail. It's a lot better just to see the location, and I'll explain that to my actors or interviewees beforehand, so they're not saying, on camera, well, the location was a lot like this, and this was over here, and this was over there. It doesn't make for a great movie, so I just say, tell people the location, maybe give a detail of where it's at while you're talking. That way I can find it later, and then I'll show a couple pictures of it. And that way people can visualize themselves there in that story. If you edit while you're on the road, a great thing to do is to have a portable external hard drive. We have a Seagate 2 terabyte hard drive and a Toshiba 1 terabyte hard drive inside of here. And that's a My Passport 1 terabyte hard drive, and they both have the cabling all inside here. And this is an old graphics calculator case that protects our hard drives while we're on the road. We can take the cables out of it and zip it kind of back up again and protect the hard drives and just plug it in and be on the road editing in the passenger seat or something like that, or in the driver's seat, because that's fun too. But that's what we have. And while we're on production or something like that, we'll have this off to the side with a computer there. So basically you can have, rather than switching out SD cards and having like 50 SD cards, we'll just have like 2 or 3, and that way we can import the footage to one of these and these hard drives, and then switch them out, format the cards every time, shoot as much as we want, and at the end of the day just copy from these to our actual 4 terabyte external hard drive here at the office. So get yourself one of those. For most people doing live events, the audio is much more important, when in truth the visual aspect to any live event is weighted much heavier in the audience's mind than the auditory aspects will ever. So you can have great audio, but if you don't have great lighting, your audience will leave unsatisfied, and chances are they won't return. Now in filmmaking, this is completely different. This is only for live events. If you're on a week-long vacation, don't sit in your hotel room scanning through several hundred photos. Go to dinner and enjoy your time. If you missed a shot somehow, there's nothing you can do about it anyway, so wait until you're back home to look through the photos. I'm just as guilty
of this as the next guy because I'm always anxious to see what I captured. But if somehow I missed a shot or something wasn't in focus, it will start to ruin your mood and in the end, ruin your trip. The photos you take will still be there when you get home, so enjoy yourself while you can. So share the camera among the family and even let your kids take a photo or two here or there. I always say the best photos in the world aren't those which were captured by professional photographers who know what all the settings and buttons on the camera control. The best photos capture life in all of its breathtaking glory. So don't be afraid to let your kids take some photos. Sure, while some of the photos they might take might be of the dog sniffing his own behind, who knows, there might be a diamond in the rough that will take your breath away. Plus, if your kid ever becomes a photographer, you can always embarrass them by telling everyone what the first photo they took was of. Just because you wrote the song doesn't mean you need to produce it. The top record companies in the world have all come out and said they don't mind if the song is only recorded on a Zoom H4n or a similar device, and that it doesn't need to be a studio version, which costs you thousands as a songwriter. The record companies have to produce it with their artists anyway, so you producing it on your own does them no good and only costs you thousands. It won't be reimbursed. You always have things on set that just don't go according to plan. I've had, for a music video I did for Haunted, I planned on doing that so many different days and it just kept on raining that season, and I was like, I need to get there. So, and what really is fortunate about it is, because a couple days after that, I was like, it's raining, and then all of a sudden, they actually had a forest fire where we were going to shoot. I kid you not, there was a forest fire, and I was, at the same time of being like, oh, that's a really bad thing that happened, I found out about it the next day, and I go, well, that's going to look awesome on film, because we wanted this very burned look, and I was going to need to do all that in post-production anyway. And then I find out there's a forest fire there, and luckily everything was extinguished. Went there about a week later to film, and the thing looked beautiful for what we were trying to get. And I was really happy about it. I did not set the forest fire. I just want to put a disclaimer there. But it just worked out very luckily for us for what we wanted the scene to look like. You know, back when I worked for a major big box retail store, I started as a team member, and then I showed that, you know, I can definitely step up. I can take the leadership role. My managers allowed me, they didn't tell me what to do most times. And so I stepped up. I saw things that needed to be done. I did them. And so a week later, I was promoted to being a manager. So definitely stepping up and showing that you can do things beyond what you were hired to do, showcases to your management. Even if it's just a one-time gig, you can always show to them that, you know, you can take a more leadership role. And it's always good to show that you can do more. It tells kind of the story of why I'm making it, and to preserve that history, and that won't be told in future generations. Because I think in history, you know, in generations to come, history books are going to skim over us and say, and generalize us by maybe a couple of different features, such as like terrorist attacks, or, you know, wars that we've been in, or maybe a couple of famous people who've done extraordinary things. But in general, it's not going to be, you know, telling the story of every single person. I think it's up to us to preserve that history. So I think that history is important, especially for, you know, our children and grandchildren to look back at and say, you know, this was my family member. And I think when my kids grow up and they want to start learning about, you know, their great-great-grandparents, then I can show them a video and say, you know, this is who your grandparents were, and that's why, you know, we're getting 500 plus hours, not necessarily all of interviews, but I think in general they're going to be able to look back at that footage and say, this is who my family was, and get to see some of the personality of their ancestors. So that for me is worth it. Never assume that your position isn't important, but always assume that everyone else's position is more important than yours, no matter who you are on set. Even if you're the director, assume everyone else's position is more important than your own, because then you'll appreciate every other position a little more. I freely admit when I first started this industry, I was a kid, and I unfortunately learned what it's like to be on the road and what it's like to have this crazy lifestyle before I learned how to be humble. I learned in an opposite way of what you should. And so one crucial piece of advice I try to point out anytime I can is that you should learn how to be humble first. So learn all these other positions before you go on stage, before you get in front of a camera. Learn what it's like to be behind the camera. And that's where this little club did something incredible. They let one person this year who genuinely wanted to do something different than act on stage. They let them come behind the scenes and help out. Learn what it was like to learn what it's like to be behind a lighting board or a soundboard and, mic up an actor. They learned that stuff. And I think we as an industry have to allow that. We have to allow kids or people just starting out to learn those behind the scenes positions before they get in front of the camera, before they get on stage. We've had lots of laughs on this show and made fun of some pretty big brands. So here's our picks for the funniest moments on the show.
Our number 5 tip is to only work with industry standard gear. In other words, if you have, or even if you are thinking about getting anything by Natty Audio, Behringer, Radio Shack, Fender Audio, or many others, please throw it in the trash or donate it to Salvation Army. This type of gear makes for great firewood to put into a barrel underneath a bridge to keep the homeless warm. No offense to the homeless. But most importantly, accepting food and drinks as payment should not last beyond your first year in music. And this should only be applied to nursing homes, because you're just working up experience performing in front of a live audience. Well, you're at a nursing home, so at least somewhat alive, that is. Don't crash. In all of my years in doing this, I have never once seen any crew with uniforms besides those who are successful. Yet another what the f*** moment. But always dress the part. For instance, we have our logo on polo shirts, which we use for a majority of the events and productions we're a part of. When we're not doing a production, I have at least 40 t-shirts and jackets with my logo on them, which I wear everywhere I go. It's mobile advertising at its best, and nowadays, most of my wardrobe has my branding on it, so it's very rare to see me without it. And while sometimes this annoys my family and friends, it's hard to look past how many times someone comes up to me and asks me for a business card, even in the middle of a grocery aisle. And he says, "Hey there, what's your recommendation for an external USB hard drive to edit with?" Basically, if you have a lot of money and lots of money, I would say going with a NAS or NAS Pro system by Seagate. They just came out with their whole NAS or NAS Pro systems, and they go anywhere from like 1 terabyte to like 24 freaking terabytes, which is huge.
Hey, this city's freaking cool. Hey, this city's freaking cool. Too bad it's April Fools. Okay guys, thanks for joining us today. This was our April Fool's episode of MH News. It always amazes me in filmmaking where, when you're on set and getting all the shots, it's all about the steadiness of the shot, and you get all these $1,000 rigs to make sure you're steady shot, and then right away in post, it's like, let's add some shaking to it. And I'm like, yeah. What was the point of getting the steady shot then, But anyway, that's just a pet peeve of mine. A really big pet peeve, because we spent a lot of money getting jibs and all that kind of.
Oh yeah. No. Well, actually, in the 2000 Battlestar Galactica reboot, they actually filmed it like a mockumentary or documentary type thing, where they actually, they wanted that shaking camera and they wanted, all that sort of thing. It's a great production though. It works so well.
Amazes me though. We've been lucky enough to welcome incredible guests onto the show in the past. Some of their answers and advice even surprised us while we were filming. So here's our picks for the most inspiring moments by a special guest. VFX or practical? What do you prefer?
Honestly, I gotta go with practical because they.
Really?
Yeah.
Even though you're VFX artist.
let me explain why. If you go back to the original Star Wars movies, they had like a real sense of wonder, didn't they? Like a sense of magic, if that makes any sense. Like when the first time you saw that Star Destroyer coming down from the big screen, you get like, oh my god, that sort of feeling. In movies like Guardians of the Galaxy, that feeling is sort of diminished. You know what I mean? And CG has sort of done that over the past few years because it's been used so extensively in contrast to physical modeling. I think now we're actually reaching a point where it's not just visual effects anymore, it's a combination of visual effects and practical, and the new Star Wars movie that's coming out directed by J.J. Abrams is going to show that too.
What I'm doing is I'm testing how far the sound is traveling before it degrades. So far, from where my first reading was to here, it degraded 2 dB. Now I'm going to try it from back there. If it doesn't degrade any more than 40%, it's actually really pushing power. The difference is that wall is there, so it's not going to travel too far beyond, but the ability to cover a farther distance is what outside shows are looking for larger amounts of people. This is a brand new system. We've only had it out once before, but not outside. So what we're trying to do is trying to gauge how much more power we would need to cover a larger area. Went from 96 dB from here to 102 dB 50 feet away, so that's a pretty good throw. That's not bad. We could use a little more power, but we have it built into the system, and what we do is we keep the power low so we keep the clarity up. The harder we press our amplifiers to their top end limit, the less clearer it's going to be and the less enjoyable it will be. So when you have a home stereo, you're pushing everything into one box and you're not getting a lot of power. You're getting all your bottom end and your mids together, and then you're getting a horn, which gives you your high ends, keyboard sounds, lead guitar, top end sounds, stuff like that. It's a good sound. It does sound good. Bose really worked it out well, that it sounds awesome the way they built and designed their boxes. However, it's not practical in a sense like this. When you're pushing a lot more power, a lot louder, you cannot get to clarity without running crossovers in your system. You could just feel the bottom end perfectly. The top end, I mean, when you're listening to it and it's mixed properly, you won't have that push on your forehead, you won't hear that twinge in your ear. That's what crossovers do for you. They allow you to properly set the frequencies apart and allow them to travel together out to different cabinets and mixed in the air. And when it's mixed properly, you could take it up to 120 dB as we just did today, 20 yards, 25 yards from the speakers, and you can't even tell it's 120 dB. It just feels perfect. You can feel it through your body, you can hear it perfectly, and you can still talk to someone standing next to you. Big difference between a home stereo and a professional system with crossovers.
Has VFX reached its pinnacle point?
I would say yes.
Really?
Yes, I would say so because look at a film like Guardians of the Galaxy. You have visual effects shots that they've probably taken like days to make. And look at Transformers too, especially. You have cars that look so real, and yet they transform into these giant robots that they're digital, but they look so realistic, and they really give you that sense of wonder. You're like, oh my god, he's gonna kill me. But I would say yes, visual effects has reached its pinnacle point because we've gotten to the point now where one can sometimes it's hard to tell the difference sometimes, and that's just getting better and better and better over the years. So
our audience have long pointed out on some of our older episodes of the show that I need to be more confident on camera. So apparently, we thought it'd be fun to go back and show you the moments I have been most shy hosting VLAMP. This should be quite fun.
Basically, this tripod is really well built, but before we get to that one, we're going to talk about this one, because we're going to be comparing back and forth the entire episode here. So, first off with this one. They advertise that it's 58 inches high, and they also advertise this one, the Magnus, is 60 inches high. Hey guys, in honor of Halloween today, we're in a very spooky location, and we're releasing a brand new single called Only Way on the MattHaslam.com music store. Welcome to MH News. I'm your host, Matt Haslam, and this week we're going to be taking a look behind the scenes of Reminiscence, Our Story is Told, which is my new documentary. And Reminiscence is this whole project of telling our story because history isn't going to.
Now, basically, if you're used to working in a space of regular scripts and films or short films or documentaries, then music videos are definitely outside of your comfort zone. But it's always great thing to work outside that comfort zone. Over the years, we've accumulated thousands of views on both YouTube channels, which our videos have been posted on our Facebook page, and our official website. So we've gone back, counted all the views off the 4 places these videos are posted, and selected a clip from each of the top 5 to show you here. So here are the top 5 most popular episodes on the show to date. As you work your way up in the case, ensuring you only cut out what's needed from each layer, you are left with a professional-looking case which not only protects your gear, but keeps it organized as well. As you can see, all the gear is at a level height, so any of my crew can see all the gear at once if they ever need something. I even added compartments for spare batteries under my microphones to conserve on space, and an accessories bin for headphones, safety cables, and GoPro mounts, as well as other things as needed. Set of 2 of them comes in at $120 from your local music store. Just call ahead and see if they're a Samson dealer. That gives you great mics as well as a great audio recorder. Just make sure everything you buy is compatible with each other. You can also opt for the Rode Video Mic Pro, which comes in at $250, but then you're going to have to sacrifice your tripod. As far as the tripod goes, the Magnus VT3000, it's $130 from B&H. That gives you a great tripod to use, and of course, our free clapboard app that we did a review on a while back. You can get that free clapboard app on your smartphone, smartphone or iOS device. That comes up to $998. So that's a great filmmaker's kit to start you out. Now, we've all seen haunting images such as these coming in from the Indianapolis State Fair at an Ordinary Sugarland concert in August 2011. And while this accident caused the deaths of 6 people and injured plenty others, truth is it was all because of operator error. A lot of people don't know that. Another accident happened in Atlantic City, New Jersey in 2003 at a Justin Timberlake and Christina Aguilera concert, and this accident didn't kill anyone because it happened the day prior to the event, and luckily the entire crew was out for lunch while the entire accident happened. But again, it happened because of operator error and someone forgotten to tighten a bolt. And that's as simple as it gets sometimes. But truth is, while after the accident happened in Indianapolis, I was lucky enough to have lunch with some of the best riggers in the entire country, and we chose to talk about this topic at quite a length. It handles really well both in studio and outside, and even during the cold weather and stuff like that. And a lot of the best shots you're going to find are when no other photographer wants to go out. If it's cold, if it's raining, or if it's snowing or something like that. Some of the best shots I've gotten this year have been when it was really cold out. So you want to go out during that, and this is a great tripod to do it with. So overall, great camera, great tripod. Fluid head works amazing, so I very highly recommend it. But I will put it up on the screen right now for you to see what it actually looks like. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to get the music from your client and figure out how many seconds long that music track is, and then you're going to make 1 second for every single row in that Excel sheet, and you're going to mark down 001, 002, so on, and until you get to the very end. And I usually put, rather than 61 seconds, I put 101 or something like that. That way I know it's 1 minute and 1 second into the video. But what I always do on this is, if a scene is going to last longer than 1 second that we're planning, then I combine cells on the right hand side of that, so I know that scene has to last 5 seconds. And why that's important is when I'm actually on set shooting that scene, I want to make sure that that scene lasts longer than 5 seconds, so we can choose a clip that's 5 seconds long. Before we show you our final category of the night, and all the bloopers and outtakes from all episodes and every season of VLAMP, I want to take a moment to sincerely thank each and every one of you for watching the 100th episode special and all 99 episodes before it. Making this show has been one of the greatest ongoing projects I've been honored with in my young life. The fact that you all enjoy it and can learn from it is all the more special for me. We look forward to joining you at episode 200. So without further ado, in making 100 episodes, we've had plenty of mistakes and bloopers. What you see on the show isn't always the first take, by far. And it's hard to count the number of mistakes I've made. And so I hope you've enjoyed today's 100th episode special, and I hope you can laugh at my expense as we show you the greatest bloopers and outtakes of V.L.A.M.P. And main topic Thursdays. Thanks for joining us, and see us back here next time. Have a good one. Inconspicuous. There's the word I was looking for earlier. I broke my DSLR now. See what happens? See how easily they are to break? GoPros aren't this hard to break. It's amazing my job really does consist of me playing with Legos. Love my job. What'd you do, honey? Oh, what'd you do all day, honey? Oh, no, I was playing with Legos. That's my job. Fix now. See how easy to fix my DSLR? Don't need to send it back to Canon or anything. CD Baby just came out with this today, and today meaning Thursday, the 19th of March here, 2015, obviously. So basically they came out with this report on, what was it, 3 lessons you should not learn from Taylor Swift. What the heck? Like, okay, so basically, what? She's not successful enough for you? You know? What, like, okay, so her tens and hundreds of millions of dollars of sales. Nope, we're not going to follow that. That's not an example to follow off of. She wouldn't be a role model. No, heck no. That's not good, you know? But they came out with this report. And there's 3 things you shouldn't learn from her, because, you know, nothing she does is good enough for them. MH News Season 2, Episode 52, Take 1. Want to do our bumper thing?
Sure. Today on MH News.
Oh, okay. You do that and then I'll... Okay, do that again.
Okay.
Sorry.
Today on MH News.
We're talking VFX. This is awesome. But, yeah. So we're going to throw that out right now. Hope you guys enjoy. And we're back. Thank you guys. So, yes, that's editing
before
process. All right. So this is going to be our Thursday episode. I'm going to use that.
Put that in the cutting room floor.
We'll see. I think like the 100th episode we're doing like a take back to all, because I'm keeping all my footage.
Oh, that's perfect.
It's going to be all the bloopers. So.
Huh?
All right.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Throw me off, man. All right. Gave him all my footage the other day to Drew for the thing. And he's like, "Oh, why you clap the clapboard so fucking loud?" I'm like, "Sorry." Because he had the speakers full blast, and I'm like, "Don't do that. You're gonna blow out your speakers,
my gosh.
dude." Oh, so And he was like in a closed little studio, and I'm like, ha ha, that's what you get. Pretty. I'm gonna use that too. Alright, so how this episode normally begins is we do like today on MH News, we're talking VFX or something like that. So rather than me doing that, I was gonna do that to you, throw that to you if you want.
What exactly are we gonna... Oh,
So, like,
I'm just gonna announce the show?
You know how like in the very beginning, I don't know if you ever watched he never watches my episodes, but the very beginning of Thursday episodes, it's like we do a little like 4 or 5 second like today on MH News we're talking about this, and then we throw it to the bumper, and like Film Ride does sometimes.
Okay.
And then because that just gets people's interest, and then we actually start the episode. So I was gonna do like today on MH News we're talking VFX.
Okay. Hold on. Today on Matt Haslam News.
It's not Matt Haslam News.
Sorry. Today on MH News.
Do it. Totally. If you ever want to talk to a VFX artist that normally hides in the back production, don't. They're weird. It's a weird little place back there.
Yeah, we have cookies and dragons and shit.
Cookies and dragons. This conversation has gone full circle. So, alright. And it's been awesome. So, have a go, people, and see us next time. Which was like one of those things, yeah.
Live long and prosper.
See, that's our high school days, like, summed up. That last 5 seconds just are 4 years of high school. Now that's located in Schuylkill County, which many people know for our beer, but not much else about us. That statement of future promises is just fiction. Notice my sarcasm. Or they relied on the venue, who hardly ever has good audio gear. Hello? Well, thank you all for joining us, and see us back here next time for even more great video, lighting, audio, music, and photography tips and tricks. Click here to subscribe, here to watch another video, and here to catch up on Season 5 of the show. All right, guys. So welcome to the live after show. It is awesome to be here and celebrate the 100th episode of V.L.A.M.P. My gosh, it has gone by so fast. I mean, I remember the first episode we ever did for MH News. Well, basically, it wasn't actually called MH News back then. Like I said in the history of the show, it was actually called Stage Life University. That was the running title back then, which is a crazy title to call a show because we didn't have a university status, and we still don't have that. So I don't know why we called it that, but we do. We did. This whole thing started as a way to try to teach people what I was never taught when I was younger and what I was never taught from experts in the field, because this field, I didn't run into too many experts in the very, very beginning. And so when I finally got some success in this industry, I decided this is what I want to do with that success. I want to help other people get to the level I'm at or beyond. And that's exactly what I think we've accomplished here. It's 100 episodes later. Actually, more than that if you count the live streams we've been doing the past week or so here to kind of test the live stream systems that we've had. And by the way, for those who don't know, we didn't have the ability to go live a couple weeks ago. This is something brand new to us that, really this is brand new to this isn't brand new to the world because plenty of other people have been doing live streams for a very long time. This is something new to us, though. And honestly, it's thanks to our good friend, Chris Krasnowski, who was a special guest on this show a while back. He is a freaking amazing person, aside from an amazing VFX artist. You actually saw a clip of him a minute ago with the funny moments and stuff like that, and most inspiring moments by a special guest. He is an amazing guy, and he actually recommended to me this software to actually go live with, and so he's been a very good friend of the show and a very good friend of mine for a very long time, since high school, and I'm so happy to have him aboard our little team of VLAMP. And it's just everyone that has anything to do with the show, whether it's whether it's making the production or if it's just watching the production. You've been an instrumental part in this whole ongoing thing that we've been doing, and we've been doing this since 2014, which seems like a crazy long time ago, but it's really not. I mean, it's only 2017. It's July 2017, and that's only a couple of years, but honestly, it's taken so much time to make VLAMP that it feels like yesterday. It feels like I'm still in that studio, the MHP studios, filming that first episode. It took a long time to get that first thing ready because, we had to do a slideshow, and I did it all by myself back then. And luckily now on the show, there's people to help me, and that's the one thing that I suggest to anyone starting out in this whole YouTube career path, to get someone to help you right away, because it's so hard, especially when we moved in season 2 to doing 5 episodes a week, and then all of a sudden we were doing 5 episodes a week. We got all things ready to go for the following week, and then all of a sudden it was episode 75, understanding your GoPro, and then all of a sudden it was oh, we're not going to do anything now. And then it was nothing until a good solid 6 months later, and we're just sitting there going, okay, I guess we can just, go ahead with the next thing then, I guess we can just go ahead with the next series here in season 3, but oh gosh. It was a fun process to create 100 episodes, and we've already had so much fun making the next couple episodes. For those who don't know, we actually do have the next couple episodes ready to go out on the channel. I'll transition to it here. This is the schedule coming up here. We are right here at episode 100, but episode 101 through 110 are already out, or they're already scheduled, and they're already uploaded to YouTube, ready to go, ready to come out. This next week on the show, we have a bunch of episodes that are just highlights of tonight's episode, highlights of everything. So, we went through 100 episodes, 27 hours of content we went through to try to find the best moments on this show, and it was incredibly difficult to narrow down. I thought editing documentaries is hard, and then I went to start edit this, and I just, it feels very, very overwhelming, and that's something that I didn't really expect so much of, because I thought this would be kind of easy. It wasn't. It definitely wasn't. So, but it's been an amazing journey that I've learned so much. I learned that this isn't supposed to be a career where you do things by yourself. I've learned the capabilities of my equipment a lot. I've learned who to befriend. I've learned who to listen to, who not to listen to. I've learned so much, and I've learned from you guys asking questions, because your questions that you sent in really taught me. I saw some of the questions coming in, and we have a very healthy stream of questions come into the show all the time, which is fantastic. If you haven't sent in a question for the show and you have a question, then please go to the contact on our website, which is mhnews.info, not .com. A lot of people get that confused. It's mhnews.info, and then tell us your name if you want to tell us your name, your email address. If you want to be notified when your question is going to be on the show, or when your question is on the show, we'll notify you of oh, here's your answer. In a Q&A video, we'll notify you that if you send in your email address there. You can also put in the subject matter and a message if you want to do that. Also up here says support the show. You can donate any amount to make the show keep going. Every dollar counts. But that, I'm not going to make a big deal of that. But because I don't really like making a big deal of that little button on the page. But you can certainly send in your questions. But I mean, we have tons of questions coming in the show, and some questions I was able to answer. I mean, most questions I'm able to answer nowadays, completely on my own. But there were some questions where I said to myself, I don't know this, and that's perfectly fine. And so I sent it along to some of my friends who know a lot more in that certain field or something, and they were able to get back to me, and we were able to answer that question on the show. And it's an amazing resource for you guys to have advice from true experts in the field. We heavily vet everyone that's going to be on the show. There's a reason why there's only been 2 guests on the show so far, because a lot of people want to be a guest and stuff like that, and people have contacted us saying that they want to be a guest, but we heavily vet everyone that's on the show. And if you're not on the show, don't get offended. It's not that you're not professional enough or whatever, or not good enough. It's just we want the best of the best of the best, and that's why we have the people we have. And really, it's just been an awesome experience trying to get through 100. I remember like last year, maybe it was actually 2 years ago, when season 2 was happening. We were like scheduling the 50th episode, and we were scheduling the 100th episode, and we were planning on having the 100th episode before Christmas that year. And then I just burned out, and I said to myself, this is way too much. We need help on the show, or it can't happen. We need to just slow it down a bit. And we decided that the best thing for everyone was to just quit the show for a little bit, come back to it a little bit later. And so in that moment, I really learned that I need to prioritize different things, and I need to put this YouTube show on a little bit of a back burner every once in a while. And like right now, our season 5 of the show is pretty healthy in its schedule, but season 5 will end eventually. I don't know when, because we're already filming like episode 111 here, and we're already getting ready for that, but that isn't airing until like the end of September sometime. So it's like, we have some time now. We have a buffer zone, and we went ahead, we filmed all of season 5 in a matter of, I think, 2-3 weeks or something like that. So all of season 5 is almost already here, and then, we have some buffer time before September to get it out, rather than trying to make a ton of content for you guys and putting it out, in a matter of a week. For putting it out over the course of a couple months. That way, at the very least, at the very least, we're putting out content on a consistent basis, even though it might be shorter episodes or something like that. But I want to get to a couple questions tonight, because this is a live show. This is 100th episode special, and that shouldn't be overlooked, So we're going to get to a question today that came in to our Facebook, and it was a question that came in actually on July 3rd. And I kind of said to the person that I'm going to answer it, but that I'm going to answer it a little bit later. But this is here. So here's the question, basically. And this is a live Q&A, so if you're watching right now, you can live chat with us and send your question in on the live chat, and we will answer it live on the show. This is a live program, so basically if there are no edits to, go find the answer somewhere online. No, I'm kidding. We don't really do that. We actually ask real experts in the field. So, I'm the only one in the studio today, so if your question does require an expert, I will screenshot it and save it for a little bit later when we have an expert nearby, right? But again, if you have a question, there's a live chat portion here on the live broadcast. If you're watching the rebroadcast of this, you can certainly go in the comment section below, or go to our website, mhnews.info, and send your question in on this little form on the contact page. Okay, send us your questions, or even if it's on our Facebook page, you can actually go to our Facebook page right now, which is facebook.com/MH News how-to show right there. So type in that right there, and you'll find us. This is the show. All right. Go here and message us. Believe it's somewhere. So you see something different than I actually see here because I'm the administrator on this account. But you can go here and send us your question, or you can go to our website. All right. So we're going to answer questions live right now on the show. So if you have one, do comment it in the live chat. All right. First question today comes from Ari. My question pertains to self-promotion and how long is your work scheduled to be able to be successful in this type of field? How are you able to balance technical editing work with music and dealing with social media and networking in general? Well, first off, hello, Ari. So here's, I just want to point this out because a new good friend of mine is a nationally ranked SAG actor in New York, and I don't mean that to name drop. He is an amazing person. His name is Tim Terry. I know I'm going to get that wrong. So I better not get it wrong. But he's a new good friend of mine, and when we were hanging out during a recording session for an upcoming production and a film, he said a ton of stuff that kind of stuck with me, and I'm actually really, really considering having him on the show very soon, just because he is such a great actor and he has so much advice that I think you guys would absolutely love. But what he said to me was that, success is a relative term, and I know people in my life have said that plenty of times before, but really, and coming from a person who has a much greater detail of success than I do, that actually does mean something, I think successfulness is relative, but I think you can be successful and be very, very happy even if you're not making, $1 million a day, Some people do make that kind of money, and I'm just, I don't think any of us watching this show or myself are one of them. But I think success is a relative term of as long as you're happy doing what you're doing, then that's absolutely fine. It doesn't really matter. If you're making enough to live on and you're happy doing what you do, then by all means go for it, Even if you're, and I was reading a really good book the other day. I'll actually see it right now. It's The Basics of Money by by an amazing YouTuber that I absolutely love watching. His YouTube channel. Oh gosh, can I find it? See, this is the problem with going live. Okay, so he runs a YouTube show called The Basic Filmmaker on YouTube here. If you search for The Basic Filmmaker YouTube channel, you will find his YouTube channel. It is an amazing, amazing show. He hasn't been doing that many episodes lately, but he's getting back into it because he wrote a book. And in this book, he talked about success. And I've been hearing a lot about this recently because I hung out with Tim Torre, and then reading this book by this amazing filmmaker and YouTuber, who, by the way, if you haven't checked out his book, I will show it to you. It's on Amazon. So he wrote this book, and I was reading about success that as he was writing it, and I'll just kind of paraphrase because I'm not going to go look up the book right now because it's all live. He was talking about success that, you can be successful and you can don't type in, try to talk on film at the same time. So this is the book that he wrote, The Basics of Money, Kevin Filmmaker. Do what you want to do and make money doing it. It's an amazing book. It's only $7.99, by the way. Get it if you haven't already gotten it. And while you're there, you can get my book, which is Treble Soul. Pick up that one. A bit more expensive, but only $3 more expensive. So both books are fantastic reads. I'm actually writing another book right now, so look for that in the future. I don't know when it'll be out, but I've been kind of like writing the book, and then I had to like sit through and read this one first because it was so awesome, and now I'm really jealous of it. So like this is amazing. But in his book, he was talking about like you can be successful and work a job that you might hate, because your success is judged by, well, if you're making money and supporting your family, that's success, And so, I mean, like success is a very relative term. So, I call myself successful in this industry, and I call myself successful in life. But at the end of the day, it is a relative term, and I enjoy the success I have. I enjoy everything I have. I enjoy my family as much as I possibly can, and that's kind of all you can do. But anyway, get back to his question because I kind of got off topic a little bit. And you can probably tell at this point why it takes us so long to edit a Q&A episode or any episode. We film for like hours and then like edit it all down into like the best 15 minutes. So it does take a little bit to edit. Today you're getting me live, and in stereo. It's like 13 reasons why beginning episode or something like that. You're live and in stereo on whatever device you're watching this on. But no, seriously, great book. Go get it. I'll get back to our actual website here. Anyway, his first question, I guess, pertains to self-promotion and how long is your work schedule to be able to be successful in this field. I typically work during the busy seasons anywhere from 40 to 60, 70 hours a week during the busy season. During the slow season, I might only work 30 to 40, but I still do work every week. And, like every day, I don't get out of bed every day. That's the advantage of being a entrepreneur and a business owner, I guess, is that, if I have a day off, I'm going to sleep in a little bit. I'm going to enjoy myself, But when I do get into work and when I do get behind the office desk, I'm going to work my butt off every minute I'm there because I'm going to make this successful for myself. I have to make it successful for myself. I have to feed myself. I have to I have to provide, and I have to make money. And so another great topic of that book, Basics of Money. But really I just have that motivation. I mean, like, I think that's where a lot of people still have the crutch. And I don't mean that in a bad way, right? Like, because if you want to start a business, then by golly, start the business while you're still having a 9-to-5 job. Be safe with it. Don't extend yourself too far and risk everything if you have like an entire family behind you and stuff like that. In my case, when I was starting out this business, I was like a 9-year-old kid, and so I had my dad and my grandmother and my sister and everyone else around who, like, my dad and my grandmother were paying all the bills back then, and so I wasn't risking quitting my job back then to go chase my dream of being an entrepreneur. I didn't really start out in the normal way, but if I had a family and stuff like that, I would definitely want to keep my job for a little bit and make sure what I'm doing is going to be a success, but I think, like, especially the way I went, when I finally got into a thing where I had to start paying bills and I had to account for life, I was at a point where, hey, this has to be successful, and it was, luckily. It luckily does pay the bills, and I'm very, very happy for that. But there are no excuses when it fails other than saying, you know what, Matt, it was all you. And I think that's what it has to be. I think you have to take some responsibility and say, you know, hey, I got to make this work, you know? So you're going to work long hours sometimes. And I certainly work a ton to make this successful. And again, I mean, that's the thing. Like, some people really complain about, like, oh, you know, if you're editing 40 hours a week, does it get boring? Yeah, sometimes it does. If you're editing the same exact thing 5 times, sure. But for me, it's always different because I do so many different facets of the industry and this in my company that, you know, I never do the same thing 2 days in a row. So it's perfectly fine for me. How are you able to balance technical editing work with music and dealing with social media and networking in general? Okay, a lot of questions. So we're going to go over, excuse me. We're going to go over, like, how do you balance technical editing work and music? So I typically just, like, for my schedule, I work through the weekends and stuff like that. So on, I guess it's like Tuesday or something like that, I take a day off and play music, which, I mean, to some people, because music is one of the fields that I'm in. So, like, my company is, you know, Matt Haslam Productions, video, lighting, audio, music, photography, graphic design, and performances. Because I have performances behind me, technically playing my guitar is part of the company, you know, and because I sell my music, I sell music videos of my own, you know, and because I'm on iTunes and stuff like that, technically writing a song could be considered work. And so people say, well, if you're playing music, this isn't just for fun anymore. No, it's not. You know, I have to write songs every so often, but I'm very fortunate in the fact that, you know, I have so much life happening around me and to me that I'm able to write great music, or what I call great music, all the time. You know, I've written so many songs now that I know what it takes to make a good song, and melodies just come to me. So, like, on Tuesdays and stuff, I'll just play my guitar or my piano for a little bit, and, you know, eventually I'll come out with a song or something like that, you know. Not every week. I don't write a song every week. Gosh, God help me if I did. I would have way too much music, but I already have, like, so much. But no, I think it's I don't want there to be that balanced. I think, like, when you're doing, like, technical editing work, you know, I do technical editing work 6 days out of the week, you know, so I'm happy to kind of, like, and 6 days out of the week, I mean, you can, there's weeks that are very, very nice, and there's weeks that are very, very stressful, because, and not that my customers make them stressful, it's that the work itself could be very stressful, because I want a really good edit for people, and I want to provide a really good quality product for people. And the problem isn't that my clients want their edits really fast. It's a problem where, you know, if we don't edit the thing by next weekend, we have 3-4 more productions to edit through, you know? So we have to edit them this weekend, you know? Or we have to edit them Monday through Thursday, or else we're going to have 3-4 more projects to edit next weekend, and we're just going to fall farther and farther behind. So some weeks it does get very stressful, and some weeks it's perfectly fine, but I think you need somewhere in there to have, like, a night off. So that's why, like, when I'm just editing and stuff like that during the busy seasons of the year, I'll edit Monday through Thursday, and usually on Tuesday night or something like that, I'll take a night off and just, you know, because I think you need to have some time away from the computer, that you're not staring at an edit for, you know, 4 days straight. So, like, on Tuesday night or something like that, I'll, like, give myself the night off and just play some music, have some fun, you know, go out to dinner with the family or something like that, and just enjoy myself. That way it gets my mind off of editing completely, and then by Wednesday I'm right back in the action, and then, you know, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday I'm filming something else. So it's a thing where I just have to stay busy, and I don't really have the balance between music and work. And for me, there is no balance, unfortunately. But then again, I mean, my question to you, Ari, would be, do you want there to be that balance? You know, if you want to be in the video, lighting, audio, music, photography, performances, graphic design kind of world, entertainment world in general, if you genuinely want to be in this industry, then be in the industry, right? If you want to be in the industry and you absolutely love coming to work, like another thing that book talked about is people have this assumption that work is a bad thing, right? And so if you want to go to work, you're considered weird. And I don't understand that, you know, because I love going to work every morning, you know, or afternoon when I actually do get into work, because I work very different schedule than anyone else. But, you know, like I don't always get out of bed in the morning really easily, but sometimes I'm like, I just want to watch one more YouTube video or something like that, or just whatever, you know, or because I have cats, they tend to want to cuddle or something. So I don't always want to get out of bed right away, but you know, when I do get into the office, I work my butt off the entire time I'm there. I don't let 1 minute go to waste, you know, just because this is what I absolutely love. So if you love it, then I don't think you need to have that balance. I genuinely don't think you need that balance. If you love what you do, then you're going to be happy once you get to work, and you're not going to wonder about, oh, when do I have to go? When can I go home? When can I go on lunch break or something like that? No, I mean, like for me, once I get into the office, if I'm hungry, fine, I'll go down for lunch or something like that, and I'll get a sandwich or something, you know? But then I'll come right back because I absolutely love it, you know? So for me, I don't really need to have that balance in my life because I'm very happy with what I do. And here's the thing of like, if you love construction or something, then you're not, if you love what you do, you're not going to worry about the balance between personal life and professional life. That little like seesaw in your mind is going to go away. If you still have that seesaw where you're at work and you're thinking about your free time, you're thinking about, you know, what am I going to do this Friday? And that's all you think about, then I'm sorry to tell you, you shouldn't be in that career. And you shouldn't be doing that job because it's a job. It's not a career for you, you know? And I'm not saying everyone has to absolutely love what they do because, you know, there's honestly sometimes where I don't like what I do. But at the end of the day, I love 99.9% of it. So it's absolutely fine, you know? You know, I'm very lucky in the fact that I love all aspects pretty much of this industry. So, you know, there is no balance for me. I'm sorry I'm not relatable in that way to a lot of people, and I'm sorry I'm not relatable maybe to you, Ari, but I don't need that balance. And for me, music is part of my job. So like if I take a night off and I just play music or something like that, it's still considered like I'm on the clock kind of hours. So yeah, like there is no balance there. But how do you deal with social media and networking in general? So like networking, I deal with that by the fact that I just talk to everyone. Be nice to everyone. Like, if I'm on a production or something like that, whether it be from my company or another company, I'm always like saying hello to everyone. And then I have a little notepad with me on my phone of like just, today I met John Smith, who's the director of programming over at this station, or I met this person who's a cameraman over at that station, or whatever you happen to do, right? So like, if I'm working a news job or something like that, I'm going to say hello to people, and then during my break, I'm going to jot down what their name was, you know? And that's just so I get to know people and can make friends and stuff like that. I mean, one day, a lot of people call it networking because, you know, one day they're looking to move to a job where it might be at that
broadcasting company or that production company, and they might be able to say, well, a while back I met so-and-so and we've been working together for a couple of productions now, I remember. And boom, there's your in. There's your person that has met you before and knows the quality of your work, that knows how nice you are. And after that interview, they're able to, call up that person of their employees and say, do you remember working with so-and-so at this production? Oh yeah, I remember that guy. I ran into him a while ago, how was he? How nice was he, And suddenly now you have a contact there, But that's how I network. But how I use social media is just one tip that I heard a while ago was just always have a question in your social media posts. So it basically says that if you have a social media account and you're trying to like be a business person, right? To always like end things with a question of like, here's a photo I just got. Share with me your favorite photo, or something like that. Or, share with me what's your favorite part of this photo, right? You're always told to have like some sort of a call to action with people, even if it's not to contact you, just to like comment or like the thing or something to, I saw a really great post a while ago by, I believe it was Sweetwater, who had like pictures of different microphones. And then under those pictures, it had like the like button, the like button, the heart, the haha, the wow, the sad, the angry, under each and every picture of the microphones. So, and it had like vote for, your favorite microphone to use for recording a snare drum, and it was brilliant because people got to like vote on a thing through the likes, and that gains interest in your photo. The more likes you have, the more comments you have, the more Facebook is going to promote it on their own without you trying to sponsor it, so that's an idea too. What I like doing on Facebook is doing something like really eye-catching and stuff like that. And you might call it promotion and stuff like that. I don't call it promotion, as far as this is concerned. But like, let me actually find it here. It's my other screen. But I'll put out like a little video or something like that. And like for instance, here's a video that we did like in a pool, like that catches your eye as you're scrolling past, and then if somebody's talking underwater, you definitely catch your eye by that, and now people go to iTunes and buy the song, Another thing I do is like videos for my family and stuff like that, and those videos have a really eye-catching beginning to them. Very like first second or two are always like really eye-catching, and that way it brings you in. Like, okay, for instance, this is bloopers and outtakes for a film that I'm working on, right, with a couple friends. Actually, Chris Krasnowski is the director of this. So like Donald Trump, Family Guy, Bernie Sanders, Shia LaBeouf, Rick and Morty, NPR, Scooby-Doo, that catches people's eye and go, okay, now I need to listen to this, Where's the other videos at? So like this video that I did, it's like a message video at a birthday party for my nephew, right? But the first like second or two of it is like an old VHS thing where it's like blue and flashing. So it catches your eye, right? And what I love about these videos is because I absolutely love doing these for my nephew. But in a weird way, right? If someone sees this and they're not like related to me, right? I mean, first off, this is great for the people that are related to me. But if someone sees this and goes, hey, Matt really knows his stuff in video. He knows how to really capture, the greatness in a moment, So they might not want me to film their next birthday party, but they might want me to film their kids musical or something, or another event.
and they're wondering, does Matt Haslam Productions know how to convey the emotion that we're going to have at this event, especially like a wedding? People often wonder, are they going to be able to capture the severity in the moment of a wedding and be able to capture the emotion that we have that day? And through videos like this, they're able to like when people comment below on those videos and message me and stuff like that and tell me I cried the entire way through it, especially on my newest music video for One Word, the Cancer song. A ton of people commented on that and said that they cried and cried and cried, and a ton of people just decided to message me a story from their family, and tell me that basically one of their family members just passed away or something like that from cancer. And I love hearing those stories. I don't love the fact that their family members passed away from cancer, but here's the music video, right? So it catches your eye with the hospital scene, and now we're gonna go into me at the hospital, walking through the hospital hallway, and then we catch your eye even more and draw you in even more by this shot, which is next here, like this, me in a hospital bed, right? So we catch your eye with that, and through the entire process, we were coming out with teasers of just myself lay dying in a hospital bed, right? And people go whoa, what's this video about? And we kept on coming out with teasers for this video of one word, and people go, what is the one word you're going to talk about, And finally, we released that it's going to be One Word, the Cancer song, a little bit later on, the actual night of the premiere, and people finally got it. But I think you need to just tease people with things of get them to ask questions, get them to comment on it somehow, get people to share it. This is a music video where it's heart-wrenching, and I love that in a way because people are able to share the hell out of that song because they understand that song, and it directly relates to them. This right now is the second most viewed video I have on my YouTube channel. I posted it here on the Facebook as well, but it's the second most viewed music video that I've done for my own performances. I've done other ones that are, thousands and thousands of hits, but for my own career, this is the second most popular, and it only came out a week ago tonight. So it's crazy because I tease people and I say, hey, one word, and people go, what are you talking about? And then when they finally see the song, they realize, wow, this is so relatable to me, And the most viewed one I have is Goodbye Friend, which is a song about saying goodbye to a friend who recently passed away or is leaving for college or some sort of thing like that, right? And so in a way, the most shared things I have relate to people on the most basic level, but that's what I love about videos like this that make people cry so much. That's what I love about videos that I did for my family that, if you're not a member of my family and stuff like that, then you might watch the video and you might go, wow, they really know how to convey a message here. They really know how to convey convey that emotion. And so, we're hired to do weddings and stuff like that because people have seen videos that I've done for my nephew. People have seen videos I've done for my own performing career. It doesn't always have to, people don't watch a music video by myself and automatically think, well, this person can only do music videos, I use social media in a way to kind of I portray life on my YouTube channel. I don't try to fake things to people, and I don't try to make things what they're not, I just tell the story of my life in the best way I can through as many videos as I can and through as many photos as I can, right? And so for me as a photographer and a videographer, I'm able to show that and convey that to people that, I know how to tell the story of my own life, so hire me to tell the story of yours, kind of thing. And like I said, social media is a very complex thing to understand, especially in a live Q&A kind of thing here. But I hope I kind of explained how I use social media a little bit. I'm not the best at it because, I don't use Twitter or I sometimes use Instagram. I used to do, a photo of the day challenge. If you're trying to be a photographer, then challenge yourself with getting a amazing photo each and every day, or once a week or something, whatever, right? So challenge yourself. And I think that's true of anything, really. Just challenge yourself to do the next goal. Challenge yourself to get 10 new customers by the end of the month, And then if you hit that, challenge yourself for another 10, Next month, challenge yourself for 20 or 30, Challenge yourself to new exciting things that you've never done before. What was it like? This year, I challenged myself to film more than I've ever filmed before, which, by the way, is a very difficult task because if you look at 2016, I filmed on average 2-3 productions a week, and now I'm challenging myself to do 5 productions a week, which is insane, and then next year I'm going to try for even more and more and more. So it's I think you just need to challenge yourself to do new things on social media and anywhere in life, The more you challenge yourself, the more you can kind of impress yourself, And I like that, I like challenging myself and finding that, I can accomplish that, And the more I accomplish, the better I'll be in the end. I set myself small goals, and when I hit those goals, I'm a lot happier because, one of the things the book Basics of Money talks about is set your goals really high, and I do that. I set major goals really high, 10 times the amount that I will ever expect of myself, But I also set small goals every day of I want to get this done, I want to get that done today, I want to get this, this, and this. And that way, when I accomplish those things, I can feel accomplished, When I have a huge goal in mind, it's great to have that huge goal, but I break it down into different tinier goals. And that way, when I'm halfway through that big, huge dream, that big, huge goal, I still feel accomplished, that I accomplished all these little tiny things along the way, Basically, if you're doing I guess an easy way to explain this is if you're on a road trip or something, right? And you set yourself a goal of driving from New York to San Francisco, right? Which is a big trip. But if you set yourself that goal and then, it takes you, 2 weeks or something like that, 2 weeks to get across country, then, that's a big, big goal. But if you set yourself tiny goals along the way of, I'm going to stop in Ohio, I'm going to stop in, I'm going to stop in Nevada, I'm going to stop at all these different places on the way, then each and every day when you stop, you can feel accomplished of, I made it this far, and that's something to be proud of. So that's kind of how I deal with the stress in my life, at least. That's just how I deal with it. So I'm going to get back to the question now. That was a while ago. Where was it? Okay. Yeah. So how long Is it your work schedule unable to be successful in the type of field? How are you able to balance technical editing work with music and deal with social media and networking in general? I kind of covered all that. So thank you for your question, by the way, Ari. I know there's plenty of other questions to get to, but like I said, normally we record and then we edit. Well, I edit down into like the best 15 minutes or 20 minutes normally. But I know the last Q&A that we did was right here. Q&A, lots of questions. This is a 21-minute episode, and it took me like probably 45 minutes to an hour to record it, just because. So if you have a question for the show, please do send it in. This is a two-way street, so this is a conversation. Obviously, if you have a question for the show, ask it in the comment section below. We will get to it in an episode, probably a live episode, because these are a lot easier to make now. Thanks to our friend Chris Krasnusky for recommending the software. It's a whole lot easier for us to make content now, and that means a much more, not more rapid schedule, because right now we're doing like 100 episode special, which is, every day for like 2 weeks or something. But once we get past this, it'll be like once a week. But the live aspect, the live recording and screen capturing enables us to do more episodes. It just easier, it just makes it easier for us, because it's really, really difficult to do this many episodes, and trying to come up with 52 episodes a year is kind of difficult. So I just want to thank you guys for tuning in. I want to thank you for asking all your questions. Definitely, if you have any questions, send them into the show. Go to our contact page, send it to us. Let us know what you have in questions, and I will definitely get around to answering you. If not in a live episode, I will definitely get around to answering those questions via email, so definitely leave your email address there. Thank you so much for tuning in for our 100th episode special. It's been an incredible couple years. Again, like we started this in August 2014, and I remember that first day after like 3 or 4 hours of recording to make that 2-hour long episode. It was this thing of just this overwhelming pride that this is what I'm gonna do. I'm finally at a point where I have enough knowledge in this industry to give back to other people. And so I want to thank every single one of you who's ever watched this show, even if you just watched one episode, one time. Thank you so much. Thank you to everyone who's been a part of the show. Thank you to my good friends Chris Krasnusky and Dave Walters for coming on the show and sharing with us your experiences and sharing with us your knowledge. Thank you to everyone who's behind the show, from my old college professors who answer my emails for the show and for your questions that I don't have enough knowledge on, or I want a second opinion on before I tell you guys. Thank you to Chris Krasnusky and Dave Walters who answered those questions on occasion. Thank you to the camera guys we've had make this show over the years. Because after a while I needed help, and nowadays I'm doing the camera work by myself again. But thank you to all those guys. Thank you to just everyone who's had anything to do with this show, or really anything to do with teaching me anything that I was able to forward on in this show. It's been an incredible journey, and I just want to thank everyone. This has been a few years of some of the best years of my life, and you've been along on the journey, and that's incredible for me to be able to say, and being a YouTuber is not easy. It's sometimes that really hectic schedule, but at the end of the day, I love doing it, and I love contributing to helping other people just as much as they help me and inspire me. So, with all that said, I think I'm going to leave it there today because, I mean, this has been a really good episode, and it's been a great 100th episode, spectacular. I just want to thank everyone. I really. I'm gonna leave you tonight with a little message, and that's coming up in a second here. Just had to make sure it loads really good. Loads into the system. But I just want to thank every single one of you who has been a part of the show, who has made this show possible, and thank you for watching the 100th episode special of this program. I guarantee we're going to continue this show. 100 is not the end for us. For a normal TV show, 100 would mean that this show would finally get syndicated, but it's not being syndicated because it's on YouTube. But, by the way, if you guys do want to see any...
When I was 10 years old and just...
So I'm sorry about that, guys. If you guys want to see any episodes so far, they are all on the archives page on our website, mhnews.info. If you're an audio engineer and you're looking for audio episodes, then just click on anything that says audio or microphones or anything to do with that. You can look through here for all the keywords and stuff like that. Looking through the episodes here. By the way, there's plenty more on this episodes tab than what you guys think. I've been getting messages on this all the time of people who scroll down and then they find a post that's not an episode on our YouTube channel. It's just a blog post. There are a lot of blog posts on here that are just blog posts. So go on here and figure things out. I know this one's I made a dolly for $15. There's a bunch on here. You just go on here on the episodes tab, scroll down, go to some of the older posts, because every single episode does have its own quote-unquote blog post, but because it's in a format on the website of blog post. Each one of these is technically a blog post to our web provider, but they're episodes to us. But there's actual blog posts on here if you want to see all those. And then the archive is all the actual episodes of each and every season. You can look up. Obviously, season 2 was a lot longer than any other season so far. Season 3 is all about music and how to start your business and stuff like that as a musician or in the entertainment industry in general. Season 4 was pretty short, but it was important nonetheless. Season 5 is going to be longer. We already have episode 110 recorded and up for you guys, so definitely look for that coming up. You can also click here, more about me as the host. You don't have to read that if you don't want to. But in case you're wondering, that's what I look like in real life, by the way. As if you didn't see any of the episodes so far, or the very beginning of this episode. Contact page again, if you want your question read on the show, or if you want an answer to a question, let us know right here, contact page, or message us on Facebook. All you need to do, by the way, if you don't want your question read on the show, if you just want an answer to the question, for instance, if it's a question that is about your company or something like that, and you don't want the question read on the show because you don't want that information out there, all you need to do is do something like a little star of hey, do not read on show or something like that, and then send us your question, okay? That's all you need to do. Some people have been asking me that as well. But then you can also support the show. It's 100 episodes already. 100 episodes. 27 plus hours of content for you guys we put out there. So if you've enjoyed any of the episodes so far, if you have learned anything from them, okay, help make this show continue being a success. Help make this show continue into season 6, 7, and 8, right? All right. Please support the show. Donate any amount. Every dollar counts. The donate button is right here on the contact page. Thank you so much for joining us today. I very much enjoyed being your host for 100 episodes, and I would love to be your host for another 100 if you guys support the show and keep us going, okay? Thank you so much for watching, and See you at episode 101 next Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you, and have a wonderful night. When I was 10 years old and just starting to perform my music, there were family members and friends who would help me carry my guitar cases. But no one in the industry was willing to give me any advice on what to do, what gear to buy, and how to go about being successful in this industry. Lucky for me, I found experts in the industry much later, but in those beginning years, I seemed to have no one. So in August 2014, I rolled my cameras for the first time, for what would later be known as V.L.A.M.P. The running title back then was Stage Life University, named after the first band I ever performed under, called Stage Life Band.
Hello and welcome to Stage Life University, the world's first completely free online audio, video, lighting, rigging, entertainer, and stage design learning community.
Our first episode was over 2 hours long, and it taught viewers how to set up and run audio for live production using a very cheesy PowerPoint presentation. Just 2 episodes later, we changed the name of the show to MH News and made the show into a blog where we would write tips and post them on our website in a paragraph format. A few blog posts later, we realized we liked making videos more, and you, our audience, liked watching rather than reading. So a few blog posts later, we rolled the cameras once again for a video episode, and season 1 was well underway. But the title MH News was a little confusing, since we really didn't talk about the news too much on the show, but rather we gave advice on 5 major topics. They were, of course, video, lighting, audio, music, and photography. So in season 4, we officially changed the name of the show one more time to V.L.A.M.P, an abbreviated version of our 5 topics of interest. While this show was created to take what my friends and I have learned through over 80 plus years of experience and pass it along to others who have a thirst for this knowledge, this show has also taught us. In fact, it taught us more than we ever thought it would. You see, I've long said on the show that the true sign of a professional isn't about what you know, it's knowing what you don't know. It's an odd saying, but it basically means that you don't have to know everything. As long as when you don't know how to do something, you're smart enough to bring in someone who does, and learn from them without your ego being scarred. I've made it no secret on this program that the people who surround the show have taught me a great deal. The people I've worked with for the over 4,000 live events I played a part in have taught me much of the advice that I forwarded on in this show. But this show has taught me sometimes you spread yourself way too thin. I've realized in doing this show that I don't know how to create 5 episodes a week for a show without having help. That's why in season 2, the show ended so suddenly, because I burned myself out trying to do it all by myself. Some of the questions you've sent into the show have made me realize it is impossible for one person to know everything about any topic. So I've learned that my professionalism is showcased when a show isn't a one-man venture. I've learned a ton by doing this show, and I hope this show has taught you something as well. Well, thank you all for joining us, and see us back here next time for even more great video, lighting, audio, music, and photography tips and tricks. Click here to subscribe, here to watch another video, and here to catch up on season 5 of the show. Thank you so much for watching our 100 episode special. If you'd like the show, please click here to see more videos on our channel. Click here to catch up on season 5 of the show, and click way down here to subscribe. Have a great night, everyone, and see us next time.